The winning blueprint presents.
Welcome, you are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. It is Wednesday, which means it is Soul Survivor Day in the lab room. We'll get to that in a second. I had a great week last week, and so I just have to make sure that I reiterate that in a week that I called Show Me Week, a week that I said you had to know what you were doing. You had to have a great grasp of the NFL and what was going on in it in the 2012 season to make a good week of picks. My Pick'em Weekly went 13-3 this week. I mean, hard pressed to find someone doing better than that. I tell you what, you might have found someone who went 14-2, maybe even 15-1. I find it hard to believe that you'll have someone that went out on a limb and picked the Browns. I find it very hard to believe that there was someone out there that thought the Browns were going to win, even though the Steelers were going into Cleveland with a third-string quarterback. They were banged up. You still thought that they were the Steelers. They'd find a way to get it done. They'd run the football. They wouldn't turn it over. The Browns would be the ones turning it over. You thought that Pittsburgh would find a way to get it done. And so I find it hard to believe that there's someone out there that said, hey, the Browns are going to win this game adamantly and believed it and made the pick. You might have been saying it in your head, but you didn't put it down on paper. You didn't make the pick. And so I find it hard to believe that someone was able to win that game. You look at the Arizona game, that was a toss-up. That could have went either way. If you picked the Rams, you were probably smarter than I was on that one. The Rams, I was picking with my heart there instead of my head. The Rams burnt me a week ago, and so I said I wasn't picking the Rams. Under no circumstances was the Rams going to be one of my selections in Week 12, and so I allowed my emotions to get the best of me on that pick, and I paid for it. You know, the Cardinals are not a good football team, and so I should have known better, but you live and you learn. I had to pay for that one, so someone might have gotten that pick on me, but you'd be hard-pressed to find someone that had a better week than 13-3. I felt like I was at the top of my game last week and felt good about my picks, and I feel good about them again this week. We'll get to my picks later on in the week, but today is Soul Survivor Day in the lab room, so we'll get to who will be your sole survivor for Week 13 in the National Football League. And you got to know we're coming down the stretch now. And so if you've made it this far in your survivor pool, you, my friend, are a bad son of a gun. Because I tell you what, it's been tough, especially if you haven't been following the rubric. I've been giving you a template on how to survive, how to duck and dodge bullets in these survivor pools. And if you haven't played by the rules, then you've probably been burnt already once this season and you're out. But if you've made it this far, you're good. Because it's so easy to get clipped in a survivor pool. All it takes is one mistake, one slip up, 1 week where you think you have it figured out, but you have no idea and you're gone. And so if you've made it this far, not only are you good, but you're running out of options. This week right here, we'll get to it. Let's go into who the sole survivor for Week 13 will be.
Everyone can pick, but only one can win. Are you the Soul Survivor?
Now let me throw out my disclaimer right now. Before I start, I'm going to ask all of you out there who follow me on this Soul Survivor Wednesday to do something that I don't normally ask of you. I'm asking you to take a blind leap of faith and just trust me this week. Just trust me. Okay, what I'm going to say to you is a little bit ludicrous, but I need you to just trust me. I'm 11 of 12 on these Soul Survivor picks, so I need you to just trust me this week. I will not let you down. I won't lead you astray. Just trust me on this one. I'm asking you. I think I've built up enough good points with you. I've built up enough brownie points for you to just trust me on this one. Okay? Now, I'm telling you, when I say this, you're probably going to shoo me off and you're going to tell me I'm crazy. And you should. You should feel that way. But I just need you to blindly trust me. I know what I'm talking about on this, but just trust me. It sounds crazy, but just trust me. You'll see what I'm talking about a little bit later. Let's get into who the survivor of Week 13 will be. As you know, it's fast-paced, it's in your face, straight to the point. We don't waste a lot of time. Don't get into who's going to win the game or who's not going to win. I just tell you why this is a good selection or it's not, and then we move on. So without any further ado, let's find out who the sole survivor will be in Week 13. First up on the docket is Thursday Night Football. It's family business. We get straight into family business right off the bat on Thursday Night Football. And it's some good family business. The New Orleans Saints, who have dealt the Atlanta Falcons their only loss of the season, travel to the Georgia Dome to take on the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a good one. This is family business. Two teams that don't like each other. Two teams that are really evenly matched when they play each other, because we're talking about two good offenses versus, not world beater defenses. And so this is going to be fun. This isn't a game that you even consider picking. This isn't one that you even give thought to. You just look at it, say, that's going to be a good game, and you move on. That's what I'm going to do. So should you. The next game up on the slate starts the action for the Sunday slate of games for Week 13. And it starts with Jacksonville traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. This Buffalo Bills team isn't a team you want to entrust anything to. And right now, for some reason, I'm drinking the Jacksonville Jaguars Kool-Aid. I'm sipping it slow, but I'm drinking it nonetheless. I don't know what happened between 2 weeks ago when Chad Henne got into the game and started playing good football and now, but I feel really good about Jacksonville for some reason. Either way, these are two bad teams. And what we don't do is go looking and sniffing for a win between two bad teams. You leave this game right where it is and you move on. The Houston Texans are taking on the Tennessee Titans. This is family business. Now, we saw Houston 2 weeks ago struggle with Jacksonville at home. Now they're on the road against Tennessee. It's family business. These two teams know each other well. Houston should be able to get this win. But after the last 2 weeks of football with the Texans, you don't want to rely on the Texans for anything. And I'm pretty sure by now, if you're this far into your football pool, if you're this far into your survivor pool, you've already used Houston. So it's probably not even an option for you. But even if it is, this isn't a game that you want to touch. The Texans have struggled the last 2 weeks, especially on the defensive end. I wouldn't go near this game. You need to stay away from this game, as will I. I move on. The San Francisco 49ers are taking on the St. Louis Rams. Now, if you haven't used the 49ers and you thought that this might be a good pick, I'd be receptive to the idea of selecting the 49ers. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't do it if I were you, but I'd be receptive to it because you're running out of options and you have to try and take the safest team in your estimation. And so if you wanted to go here, I wouldn't sign off on it, but I wouldn't shun you for doing it. But you got to keep in mind, this St. Louis Rams team went to San Francisco and put up one heck of a fight and left that family business with a draw. They couldn't agree to disagree, and so they split with a tie. You don't want to go knocking at the door of some family business and get entangled in a mess. This is a game that the 49ers should win, but you're not sure. It's family business. The Rams played them tough up at their place. Now they're home. The Rams aren't a good team, and you never know which team's going to show up, but you don't need to try to be the one to play hero and pick this 49ers team to beat the Rams and not know what you're going to get. Leave this game alone. It's family business. Don't stick your nose in other people's business. Be mindful of that. Move on. The Arizona Cardinals are traveling to the New York Jets. Ding! 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 Hear me out. Hear me out. This is my sole survivor pick for Week 13. Hear me out. No, I'm not picking the Cardinals. They are a train wreck. They are an absolute mess. They might be the worst team in all of football right now. And look, it's hard for you to win that moniker over the Kansas City Chiefs, but at least the Chiefs are getting somewhat steady play out of the quarterback position. I'm pretty sure if you put Brady Quinn on the Arizona Cardinals, they may have won 2 more games this season. So that's how bad it is in Arizona right now. Their quarterback position is an absolute nightmare. It is an abject disaster. And so the Jets will win this game at home. And look, I don't like picking the Jets for anything. Nothing. These guys are absolutely terrible with a capital T. However, there are not many picks on this sheet, as you will find as we continue to go down this sheet. And also, I have to realize that I've exhausted a lot of my picks. I still have some teams that I haven't selected, but they're not playing teams that I would feel comfortable selecting them over in this week. And so I have to go in a different direction. And yes, I'm going all the way to the left. I'm really making a sharp left turn on this one, but I need you to trust me. I need you to believe that I will not lead you astray. The Jets are a bad football team, but guess what? The Arizona Cardinals are way worse. And I tell you what, you say what you want about Mark Sanchez, and I'll be the first to line up in a line that's going to get to bash Mark Sanchez. I do it all the time. I do it in my sleep. It's what I do. I bash Mark Sanchez because I don't think he's a good, I don't even think he's an average NFL quarterback. However, he's better than anything the Arizona Cardinals can trot out onto the field, and the Jets will win this game. Trust me. At home, the Jets will beat the Arizona Cardinals. I'm very adamant about it. I need you to trust me. I know it sounds crazy. I don't like trusting the Jets any more than you like listening to me try to sell you on the fact that the Jets will win, but they're going to get it done. And look, I don't have many options on this slate of games. Maybe next week and the week after that I'll have much better options. But right now, it's slim pickings for me. So I'm going with the Jets, and they'll get it done. I'll feel good about this come Monday. But right now, you have to trust me. As hard as this should be, and I get it. It's the Jets. I'm asking you to trust a team that lost 49-19 at home last week on Thursday and absolutely embarrassed themselves. Yes, I'm asking you to trust that same team, but they're not playing the Patriots this week. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals. They'll win. Trust me, the Jets will be your survivor of Week 13 in the National Football League. But we move on. The next game up on the slate is the Miami Dolphins hosting the New England Patriots. It's family business. And while I think the Dolphins have a shot in this game, the Patriots probably will win this game. This is family business. It's family business. And it's two teams that haven't played each other all season long. They have two matchups coming up in the final 5 games. Leave this game alone. It's family business. You don't know the outcome of it. And again, it's family business. Don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong. This isn't your business. It's not my business. So I'm staying out of it, as should you. Looking at the next matchup, the Carolina Panthers are going to take on the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Wow, this is an ugly game. This is an ugly game beyond imagine. Tell you what, the 3-8 Panthers are taking on the 1-10 Kansas City Chiefs. Does that sound like a game that you should be trying to pick a winner out of? Really, does it sound like a game that is a sound decision that you should be making? Absolutely not. I move on. Seattle Seahawks traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. This game has ugly written all over it from a standpoint of you don't know who's going to win. This is two solid defenses. And I say that kind of hesitantly because the Seahawks haven't been playing that good a defense of late. At home, they're a different animal. They're on the road here. They haven't been playing the best of defense on the road. Russell Wilson has been playing really good football. But will he do that against a Chicago Bears defense that turns you over? I don't know. All I know is it's going to be a tightly contested ball game between two teams that, for the most part, play solid defense that can force turnovers. I wouldn't want to pick this game if you paid me to do so. This isn't a sound choice. This isn't a good decision if you decide to pick a winner here. You won't find this to be an easy game, one that you say, hey, I got this one. I would leave this game alone. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'll tell you what. If you pick a winner in this game, you'll probably regret it. You've come too far in the survivor pool to make a careless decision like this game because this isn't a smart choice. You have to move on. The Indianapolis Colts are traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. I'm very skeptical of this game because I don't trust the Colts on the road. Detroit can't seem to get out of their own way, but they're scoring points. Calvin Johnson has the most receiving yards in the National Football League. What Colt defender can stop him from getting open and catching the football? It's going to be an intriguing matchup because these two teams are going in opposite directions. However, I still think that the Colts are vulnerable. You don't need to try and pick a winner out of this game. This isn't a matchup that lends itself to helping you move on. So you need to leave this matchup right where it is and continue on your track to find a sole survivor for Week 13. The Minnesota Vikings are taking on the Green Bay Packers for the first time this season. And again, it's family business. It's not my business. It's not your business. It might be your business. It's definitely not my business. I'm going to stay out of it. If you want to stick your nose in it, by all means, you go ahead. I'll tell you what, I won't sign off on it, and I will not, I repeat, I will not give you my blessings on this game. This is, without a doubt, one of the worst matchups you can select in Week 13 because you saw what the Green Bay Packers did a week ago. Now they were on the road against the Super Bowl defending champions. Nonetheless, they did not look good at all. You look at the Vikings, they're not a good road team, but they're playing the Packers, a team they know very well. This is going to be a tough, tightly contested ball game. You need to leave this alone. It's family business. You know how I feel about family business. I'm going to move on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Denver Broncos. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing really good football, but they lost last week. Still, they're playing solid football. They're a team that can, score points, and they're not afraid to slap someone around in their own building and come out with a victory. We've seen them do it time and time again this season. They're going to Denver, however, to take on Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. I don't know if they'll be able to go into Denver and do what they did to, say, in Minnesota. All I know is the Denver Broncos are 8-3, going to win their division, going to go to the playoffs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 6-5, fighting for their playoff lives and on the road. I can tell you with 100% certainty that this isn't a good game for you to select. I don't know much, but I do know that. I know another thing. I'm moving on. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. Cincinnati Bengals at the San Diego Chargers. Cincinnati Bengals on the road probably should be able to beat the San Diego Chargers, but it's San Diego. You don't know what team's going to show up, and you don't trust the San Diego Chargers. I don't know what to tell you if you think this is a good idea, other than it's not a good idea. Cleveland Browns at the Oakland Raiders. 3-8 on one side, 3-8 on the other side. Bad team on one side, bad team on the other side. Why would you even think this was a game that was a possibility? You don't. I don't. We don't. So we move on. Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football lace them up and travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys to try to rectify some family business that was unfinished a few weeks back when they lost to these Cowboys at home. It's family business. Michael Vick might be back. This Cowboys team is very shaky at home. They're a very sketchy team. You really don't want to trust them with anything, including your survivor pool. They probably should be able to beat the Eagles, who are reeling right now. They're not a good team, but they're a different team if Michael Vick plays. This is family business. It is my family business, but I'm not sticking my nose in this one. I'm leaving this game alone because I don't trust either one of the teams in this game. So I'm going to move on, as should you. So we find ourselves at Monday night. The Monday night matchup sees the New York Giants taking on the Washington Redskins. This is definitely family business. This is my family business. The last two matchups were my family business. This is my team in the Washington Redskins, and so I'm not going near this game with a 10-foot pole, and this is my team. And I feel very confident that we can get the win, but it's still family business. You have no idea when the Giants and Washington Redskins match up against each other. You have no idea what's going to happen. Just like you don't know what's going to happen when the Dallas Cowboys match up against the Philadelphia Eagles. You have no idea what's going to happen. Just like you don't know what's going to happen when the Minnesota Vikings match up against the Green Bay Packers. You have no idea what's going to happen. What I'm trying to say is, it's family business. And you let those members of the family handle their business without any interruption. Don't be obtrusive here. Let them handle their family business. You stay back, watch it from afar, and don't have to worry about biting your nails to try to get a winner at the end. You don't have to sit on your hands and hope for the best. Leave your pick to a team that is taking on another ball club that they don't know well, that the other team doesn't know them well. It's not family business. And so allow them to beat a team that doesn't know them like the back of their hand. Don't put yourself in a position to fail. You want to put yourself in the best position to succeed, and the best way to do that is to pick a home team that is playing someone that is not in their division. So I am picking the Jets to beat the Arizona Cardinals, and as crazy and as far-fetched as that sounds, I have to keep saying it to convince myself that it's a good pick, but it's the smart pick, it's the right pick, it's going to work. You have to trust me on this one. I know it sounds crazy, and yes, I just said that I fixed my lips to say that the Jets are going to win. I'm guaranteeing that the Jets are, I'm guaranteeing that the Jets are going to win. Sounds crazy. Yes, it does, but it's the right pick this week. Now, if you haven't exhausted your Texans, you haven't exhausted your San Francisco 49ers, by all means, go ahead. But again, those teams are on the road, and you know how I feel about teams on the road trying to get a win inside their division. That's a double whammy. You're on the road, and it's family business. I don't like those picks. But again, if you feel confident selecting one of those teams over the pick I gave you, by all means, go ahead. But don't come crying to me on Monday morning when you're out of your survivor pool because you decided to pick a team on the road handling family business versus taking the option that I gave you. The Jets are going to win, and so I'm going to say it twice more just to remind myself and remind you that, yes, I did say the Jets are going to win. I didn't stutter. The Jets are going to be your sole survivor of Week 13 as they will beat the Arizona Cardinals at home. The Jets are your sole survivor of Week 13. Your sole survivor for Week 13 is the New York Jets. The New York Jets are
the sole survivor!
So, that's a touchdown. Go ahead and throw it up. I want to tack on this quick extra point. Right now, I want to take an opportunity to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. As a Redskins fan, it hit us hard when it first happened. I want to remember the life of Sean Taylor right now, the Redskins safety, and he was much more than just a football player. He was a father. He was a fiance. He was getting married. He was so many things to so many different people, and you hate to see a father taken away from his daughter, a daughter losing a father at such a young age. He had a small daughter that was just born when he was murdered, and so I really want to remember his life. I hate when people forget those who aren't here anymore and had unfinished business. Sean Taylor had a lot of unfinished business. I think that on the football field, he was the best safety that I've ever seen in my life. And look, I'm not that old, and so I haven't seen a lot of the Ronnie Lott's. I got the back end of Ronnie Lott's career, but I don't care. For my money, Sean Taylor was the best safety I've ever seen. The combination of size, speed, athleticism, and just sheer dominance with his athleticism was second to none. You won't find another safety in the league that was built like Sean Taylor. Talking about 6'2", 6'3", 220 pounds, runs like a deer, hits like a train. I mean, the guy had it all, and then he could run and cover your best receiver one-on-one. He could make plays on the football. He could come in, support it against the run. He could blitz with the best of them. He did it all on the football field. He was a sideline-to-sideline guy. He intimidated people over the middle. He could do everything. There wasn't one thing on the football field he couldn't do, and he was taken from us early. But, you know, beyond being a football player, again, he was a father. He was getting married. His life was turning around. He wasn't the best guy when he first came into the National Football League, but as many are that come from, you know, checkered past, he was a young guy that came into some money, had some issues, but he was writing his life. He was turning his life around. And as a Redskins fan, we got to see it firsthand. He was a different guy off the field. And so, and just listening to accounts from other guys, he had changed his life. He had turned around, and having his daughter, and this happens to a lot of people, not just, you know, athletes and people who struggle, you know, when they're coming up that have it tough. When you have a child, it changes your life. It changes your perspective on everything because you're not just living for yourself anymore. Now you know you have someone else that needs you just as much as you need yourself. And so it changed him when he had his little daughter. And so, you know, Sean Taylor was a son, a father, and he was a football player. He was a fiance. He was a good person. And I met Sean Taylor once before at a Redskins function, and I tell you what, couldn't have been a nicer guy. When it happened, it hit home, it hurt, and I can't believe that it's been 5 years. I really can't. It doesn't seem that long. It seems like just yesterday I got the news that he didn't make it. And you go to sleep. The crazy thing about his whole situation is you go to sleep one night thinking that he's okay, and you wake up the next morning and find out he's gone. And so I've had that happen to me on separate occasions where they tell you, yeah, this person's in stable condition, they're going to make it. And you kind of put yourself at ease only to get the crushing and debilitating news that they didn't make it. There's no worse feeling than feeling like someone is okay and then finding out quite the contrary, that they're actually no longer going to be with us. And so Sean Taylor, I felt like he had a career that was robbed from him. He had a life that was robbed from him. And he was going to be a Hall of Fame player. There's no doubt in my mind. And it's so tough when you look at, what he could have been. We'll never know now. And you look at his daughter and his fiance and his dad and all of the members of his family who are always in the public eye talking about how they miss him and how they can't believe he's gone. It was a tragic situation, and I always try to make sure that people remember who Sean Taylor, the football player, was, because I didn't know him personally. I started to learn about him through other people, but following his career, following his life, you could see that he was turning everything around. Everything was looking up for him. And I always try to remind people of Sean Taylor, the football player. I don't ever want people to forget how dominant he was for the brief time that he had in the National Football League. He was the best I've ever seen. And to me, I give him the Bret Hart. And that's rare for me. I don't give those out often. I don't give out Bret Harts. But to me, Sean Taylor, he was, at the time, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be at the safety position, at least for the Washington Redskins. And so, again, I say it as I always do around this time. Sean Taylor, rest in peace. Gone but never forgotten. And that's going to do it for this episode of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. As always, you have multiple ways to get in contact with me and view the show. I'm on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Like the page. Every video I've ever done is on the Facebook page. I'm on Twitter. At In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Check out the Twitter page. Follow me on Twitter. Every video I've ever done is also posted to Twitter as well. You can find me or drop something in the inbox at inthelabroom@gmail.com. That's the inbox. Drop something in there. I'll see it. I'll respond. And also, the most efficient and easiest way to view the show, contact me, is to subscribe to my page. Louis T is the page on YouTube. Subscribe to it. Like the videos. Drop a comment at the bottom of one of the videos. I'll see it. It'll come straight to the inbox, and I'll respond. I thank you for joining me again on this Wednesday afternoon. Have a good one. As always, want to see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow. And, I say this every episode, but I truly do mean it. Take care of yourself. Have a good one.